so long is like alchemy.
Quite a bit of Warrior fans there at the Riverwalk in San Antonio, AT&T Center. Usually San Antonio holds home court pretty well. More on that later. But for those of you that weren't aware of the situation, DeMarcus Cousins is out with a sore foot. The MRI was good, nothing serious, nothing structural, but in comes Andrew Bogut right into the starting lineup. They had no plans of activating him until after this road trip, but was kind of pressed into emergency action here on the road against the San Antonio Spurs team that has won 8 in a row and is climbing the Western Conference standings. Oh yeah, and by the way, Iguodala out due to a tooth extraction. That sounds painful and unplanned at this point in the season. Look at this ugly ass Spurs roster. Let's get into it. Very first possession. Welcome back, Andrew Bogut. You're no longer allowed to set illegal screens. And I guarantee you San Antonio, before tip was like, hey man, watch Bogut's illegal screens. Call that early and often. And then welcome really to the new NBA where even LaMarcus Aldridge is pulling the trigger from three-point land. He got out there, but sometimes it just doesn't matter, right? There's the lob. You always get anxious on those lobs given his history. And look, there wasn't a whole lot of positives to take away from this game, but one of them is Draymond, another multiple three-point night for him. That's going to be huge moving forward if he can just at least give us the space and the respect of him on the perimeter there. AD fought through and didn't switch it. No way Bogut can get out to that. Now watch Klay's landing. You see how he's off balance? He's bouncing around, and for whatever reason, mechanically, Klay struggled throughout this night. There's the touchdown pass and finish to Durant, back from the ankle injury, rocking the new KD 12. Now, this possession bugged me. Know the shot clock here, Durant. You know the shot clock's winding down. Watch him, just allow him to pull the trigger on that. That's defensive IQ and probably some laziness. You understand he has to shoot that ball. Other end of the court, he draws the 3 free throws on young Derek White, who's their new star guard. Looks like he came out of the trunk of a tree, but the dude's got a nice pace to his game. Speaking of pace, though, I thought Steph played at kind of a funky pace throughout this game. And, he was effective. I just thought he passed up a lot of easy shots for maybe more difficult ones, and already Bogut's chipped up. I was like, oh my God, but apparently it was just a scrape to the eye. He gets the dunk and the finish. Now, he shot 60% from the free throw line in this Australian league, and I bring that up because with playoffs approaching down the stretch, they may want his defense, but Boogie, the much better free throw shooter. We'll see the offense for defense substitution. Here's Steph again. To my eye, his pace is a little slower than we're used to seeing. Maybe that's why he misses the bunny layup. But he and Klay, man, they were the Brick Brothers tonight. Watch Klay kind of twist the hips here, off balance a bit. And it's so weird how he's been on such fire, but any given night, something can throw it off, right? That's just the nature of the beast. Draymond, I love this patience. I could stand to see this a lot more often. Instead of swinging for those home run passes, just let the play open up for itself. Bellinelli's still getting it done. He's like Rocky 5 now, right? He's like old Rocky now, but he still has the jumper. Watch Draymond sink into the paint here. They're already giving help, and he leaves Mills wide open on the three-point line. It's inexcusable, man. I don't have an explanation for it. It's greedy defense. He finds McKinney cutting, who continues to get heavier minutes with the roster a bit depleted. After a series of missed jumpers, Steph gets to the cup, left hand, and one finish. I want you to peep the English and spin on this ball. Shit's elegant. Rudy Gay continues to give us problems with his size and patience and shooting. He gets all the way to the cup, time winding down here in the half, and Steph from 70 feet, splash. So after a first quarter that saw the Splash Brothers go 2 of 15, it was Steph with 2 of the more difficult shots of the season that actually got him on the board. Second quarter, I love this fake dribble handoff. Bell, that's there all the time. And imagine if Steph's in there. If he's playing with our real shooters, then that gravity will be even stronger. Quinn Cook gets the jumper, only 11 minutes. I thought he might play more with Andre out. Watch Bell's defense here. Now, these final 13 games or so, I'd like to see Bell get some opportunity on some of these wing scores. Just you consider the decline we've seen in Draymond. Bell has that potential, but he needs the experience. KD, the pull-up jumper. Now watch White come off the screen with pace. You see how he doesn't explode? He kind of waits, and what it does is it freezes Bell and lets him get all the way to the rim. Cook gets the big switched on him. Bertans, who's low-key athletic, hits a step-back 3, but I want you to see KD and Livingston kind of dapping him up. I think Cook is probably down on himself in his play. Wonder if Kerr will give Cook the McKinney package to finish the season and rest Steph. Now, McKinney needs to understand DeRozan's coming off double screens here, so he has to switch. Durant's not going to get over 2, and he doesn't, and then it forces Quinn to stay in the paint. Bell stays in, claps, kick out to the three-point shooter. Zoe is slow, but Durant's also guilty of calling late switches like on this next one here. Bell bails him out. Watch this switch. That's late, and you could argue lazy, but Bell's speed and recovery time fixes the problem. Clay had himself a night to forget, and I would have just loved to have seen him draw some cheap fouls. He wasn't getting the normal fouls he should get, right? But sometimes he gets guilty of just trying to force up shots rather than draw the cheap one like San Antonio seemed to draw all night. KD, early foul trouble, an and one call. And you see him turn the ball over here. He just didn't seem as engaged as you would expect him coming back from missing 2 games. Steph, the turnover. Team-wide, the rhythm was just off. Watch this, even off a made basket, Steph with the step back, foot on the line. Guess we got to credit San Antonio for their ability to disrupt offenses. Watch Looney sit all the way on that left shoulder so he can be closer to the right one when he turns around, but it didn't matter. Now watch this play. The relocation threes, they don't work against San Antonio. They're too disciplined for it. Steph just did a whole lot of running around and working for that shot when he passed up the 3 initially with the ball in his hand. I'm getting sick of the relocation 3, and I don't think it's going to be as effective in a playoff series where teams are ready and disciplined for it, and it's burning Steph's energy out. Watch Mills try to sell the illegal screen. Steph splashes the 3 down. But at this point in the game, San Antonio was in control. KD was in foul trouble. Clay couldn't throw a rock in the ocean. And the team's frustration was starting to boil over with the officiating. There's a little dive dunk from Bogut. Spurs are the hottest team in the league right now, and it showed. You get bounces like this. It wasn't like they hit a bunch of crazy threes. They were just out-executing us in a variety of areas. Now watch this possession from Steph. This is where I tweeted out, like, I don't think he knows what he wants to do with the ball right here. You see, he's kind of, it felt like even though the effort was there was kind of like this team-wide indecisiveness. And it started with the Splash Brothers in their worst combined half of shooting in their careers. I thought Bogut overall looked pretty damn good, man. Look at this defensive possession here on Aldridge, who, when he's rolling, there's not a whole lot you can do, but I think Bogut's definitely going to help us in certain matchups. And more of this foul shit. You know me, I don't usually complain, but look at this 29-7 home record for the Spurs. I believe it's the best in the league, or one of the best, and it's no secret why, man. They get every damn call. Clay finally knocks one down here. More of this relocation just not being effective. And I'm not sure what it is that Steph loves about it so much. I guess it's unique, but I want to see Steph get back to just pulling the trigger in people's faces. He's fully capable of it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying take bad shots. I'm just saying less is more sometimes, right? And spending less energy, he's capable of taking the easier look, and he didn't do that on this night. Durant finally started to get going here. There's Bogut. He's a much better shot blocker than Boogie, but he takes charge as well, too. And then, of course, he does this. There's the illegal screens. We know KD, the beneficiary. And like I said, they started to get Durant going, but just as he started to get going here, he picks up his 4th foul, and it was the Kawhi foul. And given the context of these two teams playing, I understand why they called it. But, man, he had a lot of touch suspect calls in this game, and you're going to see him woofing at the ref. And he tells him, he's like, man, that's 4. That's 4. You realize that. That's 2 or 3 bad ones. You've got 4 on me now. Really, considering how many things were going wrong, it was kind of miraculous that we were hanging around the game. Clay off his foot, and he couldn't shoot. He couldn't buy a whistle. Clay, like I said, I can't remember seeing him this frustrated in a game, but you know what he did? He kept on playing. There's the kick out, Draymond's 2nd 3 of the game. If he could go 1 of 3 on average, right, 33%, it would go so far, man, and me just stop cussing him out during games. And then Bogut, I think, is going to help Draymond. They've got a great chemistry, and you saw Bogut knew that was coming the whole time. He looked off the defense and looked at Clay and sold it, and Draymond knew it was coming as well. It's just chemistry. Clay, coast to coast, ripped on the hand, no call. McKinney, the offensive rebound. I thought overall, though, they wanted the game. And defensively here, they started to make some stands to end this 3rd quarter, and they went on a run. McKinney, that's one thing he does well, is fill the lanes in transition. I just feel like we haven't been getting out in transition enough. And then look at this call. This is the type of shit that makes you question the home whistle, because the baseline referee, watch him here, he's standing right there. He sees the ball go off him and points San Antonio ball. That's the type of shit that makes you wonder. The other ref stepped in and corrected it. Watch Steph check for the trail defender to challenge the three before he pulls it. That's the new NBA. Defenders are getting better at recovering off screens and challenging from behind. But like I said, it was the defense that led to offense that got us back in the game here late in the third quarter with KD on the bench in foul trouble. It's S.tic-tac-toe from Draymond. More life for the Warriors as Steph finally got going. Watch this nasty split dribble to lose Mills. Denies the screen, scoop finish with no shot blocker at the rim. And then you're going to see him knock the three down, and he gets the shooter's roll after shooting. What did he shoot? 6 of 18 from behind the arc? But he got hot late. Look at, you hear 2 men, 3 men. How about 4 men? Doesn't matter when he gets going. And so somehow, some way, we've got the lead, or at least we think so, because here comes another late whistle. And we almost get mouth guard Steph. Same spot on the court like in Memphis. And you have to take into consideration, you rarely see him this demonstrative. So maybe he has a point. And again, I don't like to harp on home whistles and referees, but they were a major factor in this game. And even Pop's like, calm down, Steph. You know this is my home court, baby. I don't know why I think Pop talks like that. We know he doesn't. There was just less switching. You see, Clay doesn't really want to switch Cook with Rudy Gay, right? And then so Mills just takes advantage of it. There's less trust in our defense with our switching. There's another ridiculous no call. Clay getting racked on the arm. Now he's riding the ref all the way down. Take a look at this, though. Yeah, that's a foul. You know, Bertans kind of hits him on the forearm, you know, but there he is. And they gave him at least the leeway to kind of act out after he didn't get the calls. There was no T's involved. There probably should have been a T on the damn referee. Bertans then gets the touch call and 1. So that's what it is. And that's what it was last night. Now, I thought it was going to enrage the Warriors so much, it was going to push them into a win. And, you know, we fought, but we didn't execute and we didn't shoot well. Clay started to get going here, though, midway through the fourth. And we did miss DeMarcus. I got to say, we missed his presence. He could have forced the refs to give us whistles with his physicality. You see KD with his patented fouling of a three-point shooter. Shout out David West. Clay, another one. That's what separates good from great, the willingness to keep shooting until it starts to drop. I preach that to my kids all the time, and not just basketball, but you got to remain confident in what you're doing. There's a dime. And then you're going to see Steph find Draymond here out in transition. He finishes here with the left hand, and they've given enough effort to be in the game late when they probably shouldn't be. But this dude, the avatar, DeMar DeRozan, is a tough matchup for Clay. And I don't think Clay would have been gapping him that much, except for the fact that they were calling everything. And then Durant finally started to get aggressive here when he had 5 fouls. And the foul trouble early took away his aggression, because in a normally refereed game, I think we would have seen Durant get aggressive and carry us a lot earlier in this game, in this matchup. Now the baseline backdoor cut for the slam and the and 1. And we're right there. But credit San Antonio's defense. DeMar, I don't think I've ever seen him play this level of physical defense. Clay buys time, and they bait us into exactly what they wanted us to do. Kind of got to live with it, right? Now watch Draymond and KD here. I talked about KD being lazy when he tells people to switch out. He's lazy and late. I think Draymond is greedy. He tells KD to switch right there. KD doesn't. I think Draymond does it out of wanting to be around the paint, wanting the rebound, and perhaps getting a block shot. So I think there's different motives in their poor switching logic at times. Inbound, Steph, pull that 3. I talked about shot selection. I just don't understand that. Pull that 3. We're down 7 points with under 2 minutes. Shoot the 3, baby. Inbounds play, and there is the 3. So hanging around, and then back to this matchup. I honestly thought they would go to Aldridge on Green, but they go to this matchup, and it's like a boxing fight or a MMA fight. When a guy possesses similar physical attributes, it's usually a difficult matchup, and that's what DeRozan possesses against Clay as a defender. We had a couple late last looks to try to, you know, pull some miraculous win off, but it was to no avail. And hey, look, man, like I said, you know, I'm going to bring up the refs again because I'm going to do it because they pissed me the fuck off in this game. I'm going to keep it a buck. But would we have won anyway? I don't know. It's hard to say. I think they really did have an impact on this game. But overall, when you shoot like that, you can't expect to win against the hottest team in the league on their home court. So it is what it is, man. You're going to have some of these. Considering what we did in Houston and OKC, I think I'm all right with it. I know Denver has tied us. So it leaves some intrigue to the remainder of the regular season. Back-to-back in Minnesota. We'll see who's playing. I'll be back with that one. I'm out, y'all.